I thought I would offer here a little bit of an invitation to two qualities, two essential qualities to develop, to court, to embrace, to be willing to dive into on the path of awakening, but also just the path of transformation, so that it's not just a mental, conceptual, philosophical idea, but actually becomes a lived experience, a lived reality, a lived way of being in the world. And these two qualities that actually are essential, they really are presence and openness. Now, if you're familiar with this channel at all, you know that I speak about the same things over and over again. And I try and boil things down to this essentialness of the path, on the path, because it can get very confusing, it can be very overwhelming, it can engage the mind so much, all of these kind of aspects. And we, to a certain extent, we do have to wade through the mud, through the confusion, through the dirt, through the not knowing, because wading through the not knowing is a part of the journey of coming more and more into the felt sense of our experience, less out of the reactive, avoiding, triggered, rooted in separation way of being, where we in many ways are living in a kind of fear of ourselves or the world. So the reason I speak of presence and openness is because they're two sides of the same coin, and one in many ways takes you to the other and the other takes you to the other. But they fit together in a very beautiful way and are really worth somehow carrying with you always on the journey. So one can ask in a very almost basic way, in this moment, for instance, let's just look at in this moment, are you present? And what does that really mean? Well, you're listening to the words, but where are you listening to the words from? Are you listening to the words from here? Are you listening to the words as if they're an argument and you're deciding whether you agree or disagree? Or is there a way of receiving the words? And I'm not talking about just these words, I'm actually talking in many ways about words in general, the world in general. Are you receiving those in presence? And in presence meaning empty, so that they land in an empty space, in the space of awareness, in consciousness? Or are you rooted? Is your presence rooted in the mind or the emotional mind, which means in many ways that it's just up here kind of thing? And so the invitation is to explore and allow the pebble of awareness, the pebble of listening, the pebble of presence to drop ever deeper, ever deeper, ever deeper, until by and by it arrives at silence. And we find ourselves listening to others from silence, and silence is presence. It's not the absence of sound. It's not any idea. It's simply this presence. And this presence, as we go down and down and down, can get ever, ever deeper. And so the question might be, And so the question might be, where is my presence located at this moment? And the other question is, how open am I at this moment? This is the openness. It's on a horizontal plane. It's arms open. How open am I to life? How open am I to my experience? How open am I to others? And of course, I'm not talking on the level of self that lays itself bare for anybody to trample over or, violate or, anything like that. I really am inviting a very, very different contemplation, awareness, insight in this, so that it's not a violation. It's not a wrenching ourselves open. That's absurd. Nobody would advise anybody of that. This is a deep courtship, a deep awareness, a deep recognition that we may be living our lives like really quite closed, not open. And that not openness, where once was a form of protection for the wounded heart or the wounded self, is now more of a prison that we live in, that creates this separation between us and the world. And this does us no service and no favors after a while, and actually creates a deeper sense of anxiety and fear and aloneness and separation and suffering ultimately. So how open are we in this moment? This is a beautiful practice just to see. You don't have to try. In fact, trying is anathema on the spiritual path. There are certain qualities of persistence, resolve, devotion, but it's not trying. And so here we are with this presence, ever deeper, an ever deepening presence, until we fall into a deeper and deeper place within ourselves that gets closer and closer to stillness and silence, which means that we are in many ways fully present. But at the same time, there's an openness of heart, of mind, of energy, a willingness to open to the world, to other people. It's not emotional. It's not on the emotional level. It's on a deeper level than that. It's on a deeper energetic level than that. And if you're just all open with no presence, that's where it gets tricky. That's where it'll get difficult, because the openness will be potentially too emotional, too unbalanced, too pulled, because it won't have any sense of how to perceive truth. And that's where presence comes in. But if it's just presence with no openness, then it can be too dry and too detached, kind of cold. So these two are like the twin flames of union, presence and openness. Love and truth. Love and truth, the twin flames of spiritual awakening. And so this is an ongoing invitation, to see, like now, where is presence? Am I listening? Am I listening with truth? Open, aware, not forced, not tight. That's where it dovetails with the twin flame of, am I open in this moment? Is my openness rooted in presence? Is my presence rooted in openness? The twin flames that dance together. and they are us. We don't need a twin flame in life because we've got ourselves. We've got this beautiful dance that we can court. A presence rooted in openness and an openness rooted in presence. And together they dance, a cosmic dance through the universe. Consider this, please, consider this. This is really important. These qualities are not kind of throwaway qualities. They're living energies. They're living the essence of who we really are. Then we get to hear the world, and then we get to hear other people, and then we get to hear ourselves, and we get to, it transforms everything about us, not in a way that is mighty or anything like that, but just in a way that is true. You hear people, and when people know that you're hearing them, something changes. Something changes in them, and something changes in you, because suddenly there's a communion going on. Sometimes it might not be comfortable. Who cares? And if you're offering an openness without judgment, an unconditionality without measure, you're not trying to do anything for people. You're not trying to do anything to the world. You're simply there, available, as love, as presence, as openness, as the twin flame that you really are. Many blessings to you. Thank you so much for watching.